Hello there for humans and welcome to this video, and well, today I want to talk about not the E5, I want to talk about the other toothless thing in the room, and that is the Matchmaker. Because the Matchmaker is, well, one of the #1 complaints that Blitz players do have these days. So let's talk about it. And let's also press the battle button to get there, and you can also press the subscribe button to get more content, I guess. Fucking hell, I'm too good at this. Anyway, there is two real problems with the Matchmaker, and I want to talk about both of them. And #1 is not the loading time. Well, this isn't part of it, but if you can see, loading time. I would rather wait 30 seconds for a good match than 10 seconds for a crap match. So that's the first thing. So I hope this is going to be a good match, you know, because sometimes waiting is better. And obviously a lot of people aren't patient, a lot of people instantly want to get in the match, but the result of that is that you get into crap matches because Wargaming prioritizes speed over quality. One of those things, in a different form, do we have right now. We have 3 medium tanks and 1 light tank. They have 2 mediums and 2 light tanks, which, you know, is permitted by the Matchmaker. We also have 1 tank destroyer and they don't, which is dumb. So here's the first thing, the first problem with the Matchmaker, and that is the imbalance of tanks. You know, I think the biggest problem is, first, there's too much tank destroyers sometimes. You know, sometimes there's 3 tank destroyers a match, which is too much. 3 tank destroyers a match is just too much. Because it makes the game stale, it makes the game boring, it makes it campy, and that's not very cool. I mean, obviously all the tank destroyer stands are gonna cry at me now, but that's just how it works. You're boring. You're just boring. So there isn't anything bad about 2 tank destroyers, but 3 tank destroyers just make the game stale and boring. So that's the first thing that I would change, definitely, and only allow 2 tank destroyers per match. Would that lead to longer waiting times for tank destroyer players? I don't care, I don't play them. No, but I don't think so, because, for example, in this game we have 1 tank destroyer, so there wouldn't be much problem fixing that, certainly. And the second problem is the heavy tanks are fine. However, the mediums and lights are not, because sometimes in some matches you have for example, 2 light tanks and 1 medium tank, and the other side only has 1 light tank because the one tank different that they can be, and the heavies are in their own group, and then mediums and lights are in their own group as well, which they shouldn't be, because a lot of mediums in this game play like light tanks. The Victor CR is a medium tank. The Chat 25T is a medium tank. You know, that's just how it works. And that creates a horrible imbalance in the Matchmaker, you know? So I would put medium tanks and light tanks into the same category, so that we can't have this essentially 3-1 split, and that we have a then a 2-2, which is a lot better. You know, it's a lot more balanced, because the thing is, if that one team with the more tanks, lights and mediums, have good medium players, they're basically already won, because medium tanks get map control, and map control is what wins you matches. So, you know, it's not ideal, and it definitely should be changed. And I would definitely wait a few seconds longer for a better match, you know, because that's worth it, right? Why would you want to have why would you want to on purpose have a horrible match for nothing? That's my question. So yeah, I mean, this was horrible. Only 2.8k, which is a bit bad. But I'd say let's get into the second battle and let's talk about the other problem, which I think is a lot bigger than this one. Now, the second problem of the Matchmaker is the players themselves. Now, obviously, for me, I'm a decent player, I'd say. Which means that if I get matched against the 40%er, who's gonna win? Well, me. So that's really the problem, because sometimes you just have matches that are completely unbalanced. You have, on one side, you have a Unicum platoon, on the other side, you have a 40%er platoon. And, well, who's gonna win that? It's obvious. And that is not good. Now, obviously, I don't encourage bad players, because they ruin other people's fun. You know, if you're that bad that someone else has to compensate for you, you ruin their enjoyment at the game, and therefore you should not be permitted to play in the game. It's that simple. So yeah, obviously no one is forced to be a Unicum. That is never possible that everyone is a Unicum, but it should be a requirement to at least be able to carry your own weight in a high amount of circumstances. So yeah. Now, obviously, team goes city, M48 is dead, T92 is AFK. you can see where this is going, right? City teams, I think that's my experience, you know, if someone goes city, they're shit. That's what I learned already. So, I mean, even in a mouse, I wouldn't go city, because it's just dumb. Especially in a map like this, you know. Going city just makes you lose. And it's that. I mean, he's mad as well. So, I think if we're going to look at the battle results, you can kind of see that this game was pre-programmed to lose in terms of what players have picked. Now, how would I fix that? Well, I would introduce WoT matchmaking, you know. If one side has a 40%, the other side has a 40%. If one side has a 45%, 45, 55, 55, 50, 50, something like that, you know. And fill up the entire team like that. That you always have two people that are equally matched. And then also have the whole thing that also matches the entire thing, you know. Because if you always have two things that are equally matched, you have an average that is the same on both sides. Which is good. So yeah, that's how I would fix it, you know. Because then you wouldn't have teams where you have 340% and the other side has 355%. However, there is two flaws with this system that I'm going to try to solve. First of all, win rate is not the best factor for determining skill. It is a good general indication, but it is not a finite value in that sense. Because obviously, if you play a lot of low tiers, you can get a high win rate even though you play bad at tier 10. And that is another thing that has to be factored in. So what I would do is I would craft a rating that basically puts that to the test. You know, how good you do in each tier, then accumulates in a rating, and that rating is then used to match you. But that, I mean, actually, ladies and gentlemen, that rating exists. If you go to the WoT Blitz Assistant app, you can still see your personal rating. The personal rating was removed from the game when the military honor was introduced for some reason. It was removed. But it is still there. You can still see that personal rating, and I would use that to match. Now, and there is another problem with that personal rating. We use that rating to match people together, so we actually have people of similar skill. We also have to factor in the 30-day performance, because someone that might have been not that great a few years ago might be a really good player now. So we also have to factor that in, you know, which creates somewhat of a complicated rating. But hey, this is a multi-billion-dollar company. Don't tell me they can't do that. They're just too lazy for it. That's how it works. They would easily be able to pull that off with the right resources, with the right development, and they could also refine that system a lot better than I could. You know, I'm just suggesting how it should be. So we do that. Then we have another problem with that system. You know, we have equal teams. We have a problem. What do we do with the 80%ers? You know, there are very few 80%ers, and some of them would have to wait 5 minutes for a match, if not longer, which isn't really good, right? Because, sure, it would increase wait times by a bit if we introduce this system like this, but we don't want to make it infinite. Like, I think the maximum of 1 minute, you know? Because, here's the thing. Would you rather wait 10 seconds for a match that makes you rage, for a match that makes you mad, for a match that is shit, or would you wait 1 minute for a match that is fair, a match that is balanced, one that works in 90% of cases? Obviously, there's still going to be freak incidents here and there that don't quite work, but you can't just ever make it perfect. That's just impossible. But you can still make it better. What do we do with the 80%ers? Well, quite simple. Fuck. We change it. We change the system in a way that it also searches different levels. You know, if someone's 80%, then they're never going to get a match against someone else that has 80%. You know? I mean, they just can't. I don't know how we're actually winning this, but, like, the enemy team has been very great at throwing away. That gotta give it to them. You know, they are very, very good at throwing. Gotta give it to them. So, how would I solve that? Well, quite simple. For every 10 seconds of time waited, we increase the gap. You know, like, for example, if someone's 80%, we then, after 30 seconds, we can match them against someone that is 70%, for example, to then generate a match for them, because we don't want to exclude them, you know? Why do I say only 80%? Why do I not mention the, I don't know, 30%ers? Because fuck them. They don't deserve a match. Fuck those idiots. Honestly. You know, like, here's the thing. If your win rate's below 40%, you're actively losing. And at which point, I want to actively remove you from the game. So, that's what I would do. But I'm not Wargaming, and I'm not you. So what do you think about the game? What do you think that should be done? I mean, look at this guy. He tried his best. What do you think should be done? Yeah, see, 61%. Then, what do we got? 46, 61. Not fair. 58, 48, 41, 50, 48, 52, 57, 42, you know, 54, 55. That's match. So, for example, this one, M48 and the T54. They're evenly matched, and they did both 300 damage, so it works, right? Then we got T92, 44, 45. Works as well, you know? That works. And this was a relatively even match, even though my team went city. 12,000, 12,000, you know? The damage is about equal. So it works, if you properly do it. And if you tell people to not go city in a tutorial system, you know, that's the second step, you know? Not just make it a weight matchmaking, also make it an informative matchmaking, where, for example, at the beginning of the battle, you get a screen of, you know, you should go there. And make that obviously very community verified and not just some rando, because then they're gonna tell you to go on the shit side on Rockfield, because we don't want to do that. So yeah, what do you think about it? What should be changed about the matchmaking, if there should be any changes? That's just my 2 cents, or 3. And yeah, hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.